Hello and welcome back to Factorio Tightening the Belt Megabase Guide. I'm Xterminator and thank you for joining me here again. First off, I just want to mention if my voice does sound different, it's because I'm out of town visiting my parents, so different room, different mic setup and such. So just a heads up in case you're wondering. But today we're going to go over the KOVAREX process for setting up, for setting that up, and then also kind of how it works and the benefits of it and such. And then also, since that probably won't take the whole episode, I do want to expand the red circuits. They are being fully fed, but we are actually lacking. We did quite a bit of science off camera. I did a stream yesterday. If you want to check that out, I did upload it to YouTube or it's on my Twitch channel as a VOD. But we researched the KOVAREX process because I didn't feel like you really wanted to watch that. It took a little while, but it was 1,500 packs. And then we researched beacons, which we can go over maybe this episode as well, and then a few other things as well. So it did eat through our research a bit. So you can notice there that the red circuits are dwindling. But I set up more of these, and I just want to show you, I also got this whole thing mined, and I'm just feeding, it's essentially 2 yellow belts merged into a red belt all the way down, and we're not even using close to that amount. I wanted to set up more of these, but it's kind of a pain getting the materials for these. I mean, they're not cheap, right? It's 100 concrete, 100 advanced circuits, 100 gears, and 50 steel. But even so, this has only been running for maybe 2 hours, and we already have 22 of the 235, and we only need 40 to start the KOVAREX. But we can set up the KOVAREX. So what I've done is I've imported a blueprint, and this is a design that I came up with in my previous Megabase series, the Sending Supporters to Space series, and it works quite well. This one has been modified a little bit to be a bit more streamlined, modified by one of my awesome patrons, Flixian. He uses it, but he just changed like a teeny little, like a fast inserter here instead of a normal one, and just a different input number, which I'll explain once we get there. But this is my design essentially, and it probably could be simplified, especially with the priority splitters and stuff. And once we build it out, we can look at it and see if there's a better way to do it. I'm doing it this way initially because one, it again is my design. I don't really like just copy pasting other people's designs. So I like using my own type of stuff, and then also I'm familiar with it since I made it, so I'm not going to be like trying to fumble around figuring this out and just accomplishing nothing. So I have a blueprint here which I've imported, and again, in case you forget or are not familiar, if you go up here to the blueprint or hit B and you import string, you can take a blueprint string which you get from a blueprint and then import it and you get it. And to get a blueprint string, you right click and you just export the string and then copy. So that's kind of how that works. But anyway, we're going to have this guy start up here, and this is, let's see how we want to do this. This should work. My inputs are a little bit wonky. We may have to switch things around actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but we're going to do that. Now this uses red belt, which is not necessary, so I'm going to make it yellow. And what we can do is I actually did get personal bots. I've taken them out because it's really annoying when you like run past stuff like my smelters. They were building things I didn't want built at the moment, but anyway, I'm going to put the roboports back in. So I've made these personal roboports, and they just go into your armor here. Again, you right-click your armor, open it up. I have a fusion reactor, the exos, 2 batteries, and I'm putting in these roboports. And now that the roboports are here, the bots will go and build this. And the roboport, these do have a range. So like if we take this out, you can see here this green range. This is my construction. There's no logistics range or like no logistics anything with the personal port. But so it's for construction, but you can see that that's my range. The more ports you have in your armor, the bigger the range is, and more charging stations available because each one has 2 charging stations, a robot limit, so I can have a total of 20 because I have 2, and then the construction range is 30 by 30. So you can see there that if I take one out, for example, my range is a bit smaller than it was. Just to kind of show you guys that. So this is now built. And there's some stuff in here going on. First off, we do need one of these. I'm just making sure, and then we also need a combinator. And I will explain this here because for anyone new, this probably makes like no sense whatsoever, which is totally understandable. So first off, let's do our inputs first. So I think we're actually, because it would make more sense, we're actually going to swap this. So let me tear this up, and we're actually going to swap the direction of this. And then this guy, unfortunately, is kind of backed up. So that's a bit of a problem. But so this is going to come out this way. And since that chest is like full, I can't actually take it out. We're just going to do this. And this guy's going to come around. And this is going to be our U235, right? That goes in this side. And then our 238 is going to come up, and I will pick this up. There's only 22 in here. He's going to come up this way. I'm not going to connect it quite yet. We do actually need another one of these. And that's going to do that. So then this thing, you know, it doesn't really matter. We can just, oh wait, yeah. So this thing we can just kind of do something with. It doesn't really matter like what side it's on, because that's the only thing on here is the 238. So how does this work? What is this? So we have our centrifuge. It's set to the KOVAREX process. And remember, this intakes 40 235 and 5 238, and it gives us 41 235 and 2 238. So again, I explained this previously, but just to mention it again, this essentially is a net. It's in the end just exchanging 3 238 for 1 extra 235, if that makes sense. So anyway, we got that set up. Now, all this kind of complicated looking stuff, like I said, probably can be simplified. There are probably simpler ways of doing it. We can look into that. We're going to start with this though. The reason this is like this is because you want to make sure that you're like taking out that extra one you get from this process, right? But you want to make sure you're then putting back the 40 it output to start it again, right? Because it takes 40. So you put in 40 and you get 41. Well, you want to make sure that 1 doesn't go back in, because you'll need to use that for other things like fuel cells or whatever. But then you want to make sure that the 40 that's left goes back into it. And you want to make sure that it doesn't just like go down the line and then you have 10 centrifuges with, you know, like whatever, like 10 pieces in them and none of them are working, right? So that's what this kind of circuitry is for. I showed off the circuit network briefly. We will go into combinators slightly in this episode, and the way this is set up is actually very simple. So first off, let's start with our simple stuff, the 238. So this is very simple. It's a stack inserter grabbing it, right? It could be a fast inserter if you want it to be. It doesn't have to be stacked. This is more higher tech. But he's going to grab the 238 and input it. And that's going to go. And then we do get 2 out. And this is a stack filter inserter. So it's exactly a stack inserter, but with a filter ability, right? And we're filtering 238 because we don't want this 235 to go out onto this belt, right? We don't want it out here at all. We only want the 238 back out here. So we want to make sure that that's filtered so it doesn't grab our good stuff and put it out here with the bad stuff. And then same thing with this, you know, it's filtered for the good uranium because we don't want this 238 bad uranium to go into this box and through this process because it's on a separate setup here, right? So this guy outputs what we have and sticks it into this box. Okay, now we have 2 inserters exporting, right? Because we need 1 inserter to take 40 of the 41 and send it back into this system, and then 1 to go out. Okay, so what we've set up here is first off, this is wired. Both these are wired to this box. Let me turn off the little arrows. This is wired to this box. Remember, you can hook up any type of box to the circuit network as we're being attacked. Power pole. Hey, man, you're not supposed to go after my power poles. Oh, that's going to kill power to my outpost. I'll have to go deal with that, but I want to finish this. So this guy's hooked up, and this inserter says if there's more than 1, if uranium is more than 1 to export, and we've overridden the stack size bonus to 5 because 5 goes into 40, right? 5 can go into 40 evenly 8 times. Right, and the reason we've done this is because if we don't override it, you know, if we have a stack size of whatever 9, you know, that's not going to work because 9 doesn't evenly go in to 40. So you're going to grab, you know, 9 times 4, which is 36, but then it's going to just grab all the rest of it, and the extra 1 you want isn't going to go out. So this is why this is set here. You could set it to 1 if you want. It would just be slower, you know, so you could do that as well. So that guy's set to that. Now this guy is set to pretty much kind of the opposite. It's set to U235 equals 1. So this one is only going to take something if there is 1 in here. So how this works, okay, so this guy makes 41 of this, right? We get 41 output. He puts 41 into here. This is like, okay, well, there's more than 1 in here. There's 41. So it's going to output, it's going to do 5, 5, 5, 5, you know, 8 times, and that's going to leave 1 in here. So this condition is then no longer going to be true because there's not more than 1, there is 1, right? It equals 1. So this guy's not going to take that 1, but this one will, because if this condition is then true, it equals 1. As I just clear the condition. Whoopsie, you right click to do that, by the way. So that's how that works. Now, what is this for? This is for the initial feeding of it, and this is tileable in the fact that, you know, you can just tile it down like this, and for passing it through. Why we want to limit this is because, you know, we want some to go further down the line. So what this is essentially a counter. This is counting. So this guy is saying read hand contents, reads the contents of the inserter hand and sends them to the circuit network. We're overriding the stack size to 1 because we only want to pick up 1 at a time for this to work. And this is enabling if it's less than 80, right? So this one is simply just counting. It's saying 235 plus 0, so it's just 1, essentially. 1, 235 plus 0 is obviously still what you started with, and you just output the input, essentially. And so this just counts. You'll see it'll make a lot more sense once we turn it on. You'll see this counting up. So then once this hits 80, it should stop inserting. And what this is going to... seriously? Where am I doing? Oh, it's one little dude. You little punk. Anyway, so what's going to happen then is that, you know, once this does less than 80, and then it shouldn't insert anymore, because this does 80 for the initial, like to get it started. It only takes 40, but we want 2 process amounts in here so it can constantly run, right? We want double the amount it takes. So this is for our initial feed, okay? That's the important part. This is for our initial feed. So once this hits 80, this is no longer going to grab from this belt. So it's not going to be picking up the extra 1 we get from this. It's going to pass by. And then this thing can just feed itself, remember, because we're taking 40 from here and putting it back in. Okay, so this is just for the initial feed. So then the one we're getting each cycle goes down. And if you have, you know, another one of these, it's going to start the cycle again, which will count. And then once it finishes, it will go down. So it's a very long kind of wind up, but once it gets started and, you know, you leave it be, it can generate a lot of this good uranium. Okay, so that, again, it'll make a lot more sense once we turn it on. We need to go, take care of these stupid little guys who keep attacking us in, like, it's like the most random places. I'm telling you, it's not good. So they killed a radar and a power pole, and that power pole, definitely killed our outpost power, I think, because it was, you know, it was running down the main line, at least to the coal, which is really bad, because that means that, well, we don't have any coal, which then means, see, this is why these bots, this is why I took them out. This is why you guys got taken out of duty, because you're placing stuff. I don't want you to be Really? Oh, he's still here. Oh, he's taking a belt ride. Screw you. Explode into goop. Okay, you idiots. Can we not do that? I need to go replace the power pole. I need to figure out where that was. Oh, great. Where was that, actually? I think I'm gonna have to drive down the line and find it. So when we come back, we'll turn that thing on and you'll start to see that it makes more sense. So, I mean, maybe they didn't kill it, because this still has power. Did he just, like, get distracted? How did he not? It's almost dead. What happened to it? Did it get killed by a train or something? That's a little bit odd. It, like, maybe he, like, attacked it and then got bored and came up and attacked here or something. That's kind of weird. Okay, well, that was easy. And also, they did damage that. Looks like we may need a couple lasers or something here. I think actually, no, I didn't use all my lasers. Let's just stick a couple on the side here. Make sure that these stupid guys cannot get in. All right, so blue circuits are totally backed up, which is awesome. And we're gonna drive back up to this uranium thing and turn it on, and you'll start to kind of see what I meant as we hit the pipe and my robots fly off to do other stuff. We desperately need a toggle. That's one mod I do want to grab, is the equipment hotkeys mod, because it does let you toggle on and off your personal ports as well as your night vision and exoskeletons, which is pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and come over here, and we're going to hook this up. So he's going to grab what he needs, and then we're going to, now this is very important, guys, all right, is for this particular setup, and give me one quick second here. All right, apologize for that. Like I said, I'm at my parents and I could hear someone talking, so I had to close the door. But an important note here is for this setup, it may be different for your setups. For this setup, do not manually like directly insert this into here, because then it's not going to, the inserter's not going to be grabbing it, so it's not going to count it and it's going to throw things off. It's very important that you start this with, so this is backed up essentially, which is actually really bad because then this stops. Yes, we need this to kind of go through a chest first. Let's actually, let's do that. Okay, we'll get some fast inserters going. And I'm just gonna grab a bunch of it to kind of speed along the process here. All right, so, oh, there's a good one. Sweet, that'll make it through. So yeah, what's gonna happen then is we want to manually feed this, and we should just do a chest here as well, just as a pass through. So we don't want to manually feed it. We want to start it with inserters like this, and actually, just to be safe, I'm gonna do normal inserters. So that one's gonna go along. We're gonna stick this in here. Okay. Now that may not be good. That may actually be really bad. Hold on. Because grabbing in stacks of 2 may be a problem. I'm not sure. It may work, but just to be safe, we are going to reset the stack size bonus to 1. So you just go in there, do that. Okay. So let's stick this in here, and you'll see then that once this guy grabs it, yeah, because this is a stack size of 1, so it would have kind of thrown things off. So he's going to grab it, and you can now see here, you can see it counting, right? As the inserter grabs it, input signal, output signal, and they're matching. So once this hits 80, this one's going to never grab again. Okay? And this guy is just grabbing from him. It's just kind of setting it on the floor in front. You could put a box here if you want, but this is fine. So his stack size is also overridden to 5 to equal this one. And this is just very simple. This combinator setup, it's an arithmetic combinator. It's just uranium-235 plus 0 and output the 235. And you can see now this has now done 24. So we only need 16 to actually then start this. So it's going to take a while, but that's pretty much how the setup works. And then you can just tile it, right? You can just do it again. And the good thing here is, like, you may be thinking, well, this could mess things up, right? Because what if this, if this one misses one and then this starts grabbing some and this won't actually get what it needs. And that's why we do this like a stack size of 1 and do it slowly, because that's going to make sure this one is going to be able to grab everything it needs before it even reaches this one. Okay, so that's why that's important. That's a lot of stuff to make, but yeah, so that is why it's important to kind of do it that way. All right, we're gonna need some circuits. Let's go see what we can do about building out the reds, expanding it a bit. And also, I did expand power on the stream as well. I added another row here, and I did start inputting solid fuel because we were having some issues with like the stuff keeping up. Is that it? Oh, that's a steel chest. All right. You're good. Let's build one of those. Okay, let's not build one of those. That is a lot of circuits. We'll have to go get some circuits. All right. So that thing's gonna do its job. This will slowly go. I did also put productivity in here and a speed just to offset it. Because the productivity, again, will give us, once this bar reaches the end, it will give us another process, which is kind of just an extra chance to get, free amount. And then, like I said, this slows it down, speed minus 15%, so I put the speed module in here, which is speed plus 20. So not only do we get the productivity, hey, there's another one, but it's also 5% faster as I tear it up. You dingbat. All right, let's do that. Let's go get materials to expand these red circuits, and we'll use a blueprint because we do have personal robots now, so the blueprints will be much more handy. And here we go again with the bots placing things I don't want them to. Well, you're gonna get left behind, dudes. I'm not waiting for you. All right, let's grab circuits and stuff, iron, and we will want to grab some assemblers and some inserters and such as always. And we have normal inserters, a bit of them. Okay, let's go ahead and turn, oh, you can see my batteries draining, right, when they charge. So if we didn't have these batteries, it would be pulling from the fusion reactor and be much slower. One thing I have not mentioned about bots, which you probably did notice there, is when they run out of energy, like themselves, they slow down. Like that, a long time ago, I think they used to explode, which would have been pretty funny, but they do slow down like that. So if you do see your bots like kind of wandering around super slow, it's because they're out of energy and couldn't get to their charge station. When that happens, they will be going to a charge station, but you know, it may take them a while to get there. So reds are now actually backed up because science stopped. So let's do some more science. I also knocked out quite a few robot worker speeds all the way up until level 5. So I did through 4. Level 1 and 2, or level 2 speed and efficiency modules and productivity, I believe. In fact, did I get level 3 productivity modules? No. Okay, no, we didn't even get level 2. So let's get those. And then that should be everything. I think we're missing belt. Let's get some belt. And then we'll just blueprint what's there, put some more down. It's backed up, but you know, if we continually do science, it will kind of run out again. So we will want to just expand it. And we'll get that going. I fixed a few train issues, which is probably worth pointing out. On this junction, I had an issue where the trains were like stuck. So like the copper train was stuck trying to pull in here because at the same time the iron train had pulled out, so they were blocking each other. And that was because I actually had put a normal signal right here, which again, standard practice is to put a normal signal before a merge, which this is. However, with a system like this with these junctions so close and a setup similar to this, we do actually want chains all along here. And the reason again for that is because this will allow the train to look all the way ahead and see. So what had happened is this was a normal signal. So he was only looking to right here, right? Because that's the normal signals don't look past that. So he was looking to here and he's like, okay, this is clear. So copper train to come down, all right, clear, clear. And then he stopped in like here-ish or something. It was sticking out this end. And then this train left and couldn't leave because this is blocking it. So what will happen now is that if like this train is starting to pull out, this copper train will just wait just like back here and right here and won't block the exit either direction for stuff coming out. So that was worth mentioning. Okay, research is done. Laser turret shooting speed, we get some of that. I think I got some laser turret damage as well. Just kind of try to progressively bump that up. Okay, so let's go and let's see what we can do blueprint wise. Now blueprints, one thing I haven't mentioned is there's a couple of things. There's my blueprints and there's game blueprints here. And this is like your library, right? It's called a blueprint library. So I have all these in my inventory, most of which I probably don't need in here constantly. So what we can do is we can actually go in here and I'm gonna just I just click it and drop it. And this puts it in here. So it will always be accessible to me, but I don't need to carry it in my inventory any longer. I can just get rid of it. Same with like this one, if the game would let me do it. So that's gonna go there and you can modify it from here too, or not. Why does that not let me do it? Huh. Okay, I guess you can't modify the icons. Well, no, that's a little bit odd. So we're gonna do that, and we're just gonna say green circuit full, just because it's a full build of it. So we're gonna do that, and what we're gonna do actually then is delete this one from there and take the new one and just drop it in. And we can delete this, so on and so forth. So this, my blueprints, is blueprints it stores like in your Factorio directory, and they go with you anywhere. So like if you go into a multiplayer game, your blueprints in this section will be accessible to anybody in that game. They can go in and over here it'll show like a list of everybody's blueprints, and you can then just take them and download them. So if you don't want people to have your blueprints, put them in your game blueprints, because these are locked to your game, your save game, right? So anything in this game blueprints, like if I put whatever in here, let's just say I put put the KOVAREX thing in here. This will not carry with me to multiplayer games. This will be strictly in the save. But when I load up the save again, you know, or if I move the save, it'll come with it. But these will persist with me. So just a quick note there. You know, maybe you have some blueprints you don't want people to just take. So definitely worth noting which one to put those in. Okay, so I have a blank blueprint. We can just copy the whole thing. I don't know that I need a whole nother section yet, so we're just gonna copy this amount, not the turret. And we're gonna see if this works. I think I may have messed up a little bit. Slightly. No, but this is fine. So we can do that. And I just click on top of it. You can see there was a blue thing there, so it's overlapping, which is fine. I didn't even have to shift click. I can just normal click. And as I drag this, you can see it then makes a curve. And then now, if we stick our bots in, try to stand clear here of the circuits, these guys will start placing it. And they should have everything. And you can see, I mean, even with 20 bots, and they're not even like max non-infinite research and such, this goes pretty quick. Probably quicker than I could do it, honestly. So we're gonna get some more lab research speed going. And that's gonna, oh right, we are missing this. This is the only thing we're missing pretty much is the power poles. I did miss a couple. So when you go to tile things, make sure you grab the belts that are needed. I did miss a couple right there. And this somehow did not, oh great. Of course, game, thank you. This did not get its stuff, and some of this, oh really, is that seriously like that? Wow. These power poles are a mess, man. Jeez. All right, let's stick that there. Let's just not look at those power poles. What is this? Oh dear God. Okay. Let's not look at that. So that will kick on that. I mean, again, this is backed up, but just in case that adds another section. We don't even need to expand blues currently because they're backed up, which is awesome. Greens are backed up. Things are looking really well. We can just knock out this research. I guess probably start kind of heading in the direction of a rocket silo, although for all that stuff, we will need more power, and I really would like to get, uranium, or not uranium, a nuclear power setup instead of expanding my steam, because fuel is kind of an issue. So what we'll probably do next episode is actually set up the production for the parts needed for nuclear power. The reactor, and the turbines, and the heat exchangers and heat pipes. And of course, when we go to build it, I'll explain all of it, how it works and such. So I guess we're just randomly slowly building these smelters because my bots decide to just do it as I pass through. So yeah, I just want to, we can actually map view in. How are we doing here? This is done 27, so we've gotten 3 more in the time since we set this up, which is pretty decent. We only need 13 more. That's really not that long. And I could even set up more of these if I want out to here. And once this starts, it'll start cranking along. You cannot productivity this. However, you can speed modulate or efficiency if you wanted. Efficiency modules just reduce energy, which in turn reduces pollution if you're using steam power, because you know the boilers produce pollution. So if you're using less power, it's less pollution. But they do just reduce energy consumption there, and there you go. So. Yeah, but one note, I'm just reading this. One note is that the minimum energy consumption, something you can get down to, is 20%. So you can't make it like take 0 energy. So there is a point to where you don't want to just like fill a machine with like the level 3s of these, because it's just going to be a waste. But probably we will end up using beacons on these too, just to speed it up, because this is a bit of a lengthy process. You know, it takes 50 seconds, almost a minute. These do have a crafting speed of 0.75, so it would pretty much take a minute. So we will want to throw some speed models in here and beacons, and I'll explain the beacons once we get there. But I think that's going to do it for now, guys, at 30 minutes. And I'm pretty happy with what we got done. Expanded reds, got the KOVAREX going, which was the main thing I wanted to do. And I'll let it run a little bit off camera so we can have this process started next episode. But look forward to nuclear part production and setting up some beacons and stuff around this for next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and found it helpful. Any questions, comments, do leave below and I'll do my best to read and respond them. I have been a little lax on that last couple of days. Again, I am out of town, so I'm trying to spend some family time, but I will try to get around to reading everything. But anyway, until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.